Hey everybody, I'm Brad Polumbo, and you're watching BradReacts on Right Now, a series where we react to and debunk the craziest and cringiest political content that's going viral on social media. Today, we're taking a look at a speech by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, everybody's favorite socialist congresswoman, that she just made on the House floor, where she makes some unusually bad, even by her basement-low standards, arguments for canceling student debt. Producer Zeke, let's roll our first clip.
I'm 32 years old now. I have over $17,000 in student loan debt. And I didn't go to graduate school because I knew that getting another degree would drown me in debt that I would never be able to surpass. This is unacceptable.
What part of that is unacceptable exactly? Are we seriously hearing a congresswoman who taxpayers pay $175,000 a year in salary saying that taxpayers should have to pay off her student loans? I mean, AOC as an individual, now as a member of Congress, literally makes twice the income of the average US household. And she thinks that working people across this country should have to pay off her student debt? What are you talking about, AOC? And even worse, the amount of debt she has, $17,000, that might sound like a lot of money, and it's no small sum, to be sure, but it's actually only a monthly payment of $100 to $200, roughly estimated. We can't know for sure, but that's about how much it would typically cost someone with that amount of student debt. So AOC is using herself as an example of a supposed victim of the student debt crisis, even though she earns $175 grand a year, courtesy of you and me, and only has to pay a few $100s a month. If that is an argument for student debt cancellation, wow. I don't want to see the arguments against it. Producer Zeke, let's see what else she has to say.
But this isn't just an issue of a debt crisis. This is an educational crisis in the United States of America. If we want to remain competitive, if we want to remain innovative, and if we need the technological investments necessary to address things like climate change, we need an educated country. The United States has a policy of actively disincentivizing higher education. We disincentivize people from getting a college or secondary education beyond high school. That is backwards.
I'd love to know what AOC is smoking in this clip, because I don't think you're allowed to hit the bong before you hit the House floor for a speech. Because in what universe is the US discouraging higher education? I mean, we literally have a mentality of us as a society of every kid needs to go to college, and the federal government gave out $1.6 trillion in subsidized loans. That's not even mentioning Pell Grants and other forms of just direct cash aid. Literally encouraging people, having taxpayers invest huge sums just to help people go to college. And even at the state level, we have massive amounts of government spending specifically meant to encourage people to go to college. The idea that we disincentivize higher education, I mean, that just has no basis in reality. In fact, we actually encourage it too much. We need more alternatives to going to college and getting a gender studies degree than becoming a barista at Starbucks or something, because college is not working for everybody, particularly the people who can't pay off their loans. We need more apprenticeship programs and entry-level jobs and training that can actually get you a good income in a good profession, not just every kid getting a bachelor's degree no matter what. That doesn't make any sense. And in fact, government policies encouraging every kid to go to college, like these massive student loan programs, have actually inflated the cost of college. About 50 cents on the dollar for every student loan that we've extended through the government at a subsidized rate has just been captured by higher tuition prices and led to huge increases in the price of tuition. So I don't know what AOC's on about here, but the problem is not us failing to incentivize higher education. If anything, we're doing too much of that. Producer Zeke, what else does she have?
I'm greatly looking forward to the Biden administration canceling student loan debt and no longer advancing the false narratives that student loan debt is for the privileged. What a ridiculous assertion. Do we really think that a billionaire's child is taking student loans? Come on. Come on. If you are taking on student loan debt, it's because you are likely a working or middle class person.
She is literally on her own planet right now. That is the most factually challenged rant I have seen from AOC, and that is certainly saying something, people. I mean, no, literally nobody ever said that it's billionaires' kids who are holding student debt, but it absolutely is true that the slice of Americans holding a college degree and thus holding almost all the college debt is only 1 in 3 adults over age 25, and they earn much more than the rest of the population. But the rest of the population still pays taxes. So when you cancel student debt, which really means taxpayers have to pay it off, what you're doing is transferring money from working class taxpayers to the 1 in 3 Americans who went to college, which just so happen to be much higher earning on average. I mean, this is not a fact that's in dispute. Even liberal think tanks like the Urban Institute or the Brookings Institution have looked into this issue, and their honest analysis finds that student debt cancellation is highly regressive. It's against everything progressives claim to stand for because it actually helps the rich at the expense of the poor. And so AOC herself, actually, funnily enough, is an example of this. She is a member of the privileged elite now. She earns $175K a year, she's a global celebrity, and yet she would benefit from student debt cancellation personally. Can we talk about a conflict of interest, by the way? But I guess that's a rant for another time. But yeah, so people like her, who are affluent and successful and well-educated, would benefit, while you and me pay more in taxes every week just to cover that cost. In fact, one study found that 6 times more benefit would go to the top 20% of income earners from student debt cancellation than the bottom 20%. That's not progressive. That's a big government scam that the progressive elite are using to actually just funnel cash to their well-educated Democratic voter constituency at the expense of everybody else. All right, that's about all the crazy I can handle this week. So thanks for joining us. This has been BradReacts on Right Now. Be sure to hop in that comment section and let me know, do you think that our tax money should have to go to paying off AOC's financial obligations? Like this video and make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can join us next time on BradReacts.